And as a grown up devout Jew, I can tell you, there's a lot of pressure in that culture, and like pressure to go to shul.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't go to shul, then you got to go to the high holidays, and like, or you have to sell like, and the pressure to do like even in your family to do the Seder right, or
Isn't
like
there a way
to
like fail your bar mitzvah or something like that? Don't you have to recite like
yeah, bar
if you
mitzvah.
recite it wrong?
I mean, those are just those.
Like
That's just a
wouldn't
traditional.
that be like a little bit? Wouldn't that be a little pressure as a kid? I don't know, but like,
Well, that's more. But you get to choose if you want to have a bar mitzvah.
oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know
at
that.
13 you can have it, but you can have it later.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Like, yeah, that's not. They don't just throw you in the deep end and say, "All right, you're 13.
I was
Time to read Hebrew and the Torah."
My thought was like I was thinking like Stephen King in the awful new It movie where like he's like all worried and runs away and shit because he's a teen and he's like, oh, teen problems and Judaism. I don't know, but
No, that was just weird. He's already like at his bar mitzvah, and like, okay, just to sidestep that, just to talk about that scene, having done my bar mitzvah, dude. If you're already at the fucking podium with the talit and the fucking kippah, and you're about to lead the congregation, which is what you're supposed to do during a bar mitzvah, you're basically like a rabbi like substitute as a kid.
yeah, it's like your first time.
You spent months at a time learning the aliyah. And the aliyah are sung. So it's like, dude, it's fucking 5 minutes of work. Like, Jesus motherfucking Christ, man. Like, it's not like it's hard. And then the rest of the time, like, that's really, you sing for 5 minutes, you do your aliyah, and then the rest of the time, you just kind of mirror the rabbi and do nothing else. Sing a bunch of songs to the congregation. Like like
he got social pressure. He was too scared to like stand before on stage or whatever.
I say my mom learned that whole fucking thing. I remember her doing that shit.
I'm not surprised. me and your mom are not on good terms right now. I don't know if she told you.
No?
Oh, good. Then that's all we're gonna leave it. Me and your mom got into a bit of a fight online.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It ended with me kind of
social media
proving to her that she was living in an echo chamber and that if she was
social media
actually wanted to engage a difference and understand what she was talking about, she would ask me questions and not just assume what I know. Because that's what an echo chamber does. And I even put the definition, and yeah, that's all we're talking about that.
Social Warrior C4.
Ooh, I'm suddenly more interested.
No, you're not. You're not going to. Let's just say
that's a terrifier.
This is what I do with my friends, man. I find their parents. They ask them about their political leanings, and they slowly start to destroy them.
That was hilarious.
This is what my parents have done to me. Why do you think I'm a talk show called The Villain's Talk Show? I'm slowly gonna weed my way.
No. It's the Jiro's podcast.
Yeah. The
Jiro's podcast.
The Phoenix experience.
I like that. Rujala says one of my favorite activities to take myself to a nice dinner, and by herself, I'm assuming. And it's my don't care what everyone thinks. This makes me happy. You know what? The likeness fucking does that. He will fucking just out of nowhere go to a super fancy steak and just have a fancy steak dinner with scotch by himself and just does not give a fuck.
That's the
full
shit.
suit, like just by himself,
really
and just treats himself. And he says the exact honestly, the exact same thing. It makes him happy.
I do that with sushi.
I've definitely had a day or two like that. It's not bad. It's pretty nice when you get a day like that.
But yeah, so Rujala, no, fuck it. It's not sad at all. That's treating yourself to prime.
Yeah,
that is the prime treating, especially because you're married. That's saying to your husband, just like, no, you can have the house to yourself. I'm gonna go treat myself to a nice dinner, And then you just sit there in a fancy dress, drinking champagne and eating some wonderful rigatoni and just loving life. That is.
I need to buy a dinner jacket for that, but that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah!
We should all do that. We'll all sit at our own tables.
The likeness took me for one before COVID. Actually, when COVID started, before all the restaurants shut down, or when they reopened for a little bit, he booked us both a really nice dinner at this steak restaurant. And
Shit, eh?
I went full suit and tie, everything, same as him, and we just had this wonderful steak dinner. Just us two. It was great. Dinner conversation. We laughed, we joked, we quoted Monty Python. It was great.
We quoted Monty Python.
I'm like, yeah, because every time the waiter came back and asked us for more water, we'd be like, actually, we'd like a new conversation. This one was dull, and he caught on real quick too. The waiter, he started coming back with like, well, there was this happening, and we're like, oh yes, and we'd start talking about it. It was great, actually. It was a fantastic evening.
Nice.
But yeah, I exactly, Ruchal. That's why we get along. That's why I want to convey this to people: the ability to say "fuck it," because then you have the most wild times. One of the most wild times. Like another good example is, I think I might have said this before on the podcast a long time ago, but I did this thing called LARP for a long time, and there was this instance where I was.
What? You doing LARP? Never.
I haven't
heard of that.
There's all these new characters, all these new players, in the middle of this basically competition we have, and they made a group of just all the new players, which means they were going to lose every competition because all of the seasoned players had actual teams that were divvied up to their skills so that they could actually compete and win. And then it's just a group of just new players who had no idea what the fuck they were doing. And I just wanted to get drunk. I had a bunch of drugs with me, and I just snuck them in, and I was just going to get drunk and high and just watch the competitions because my character was a bard. I was like, fuck competitions. I'm here to watch. And they roped me into being their leader because they needed one more. And so I honestly told them out of game, this was my plan. If you guys want me to do this, I will, but I am not changing what my goal was. And they said sure, and I just said fuck it, and me and these new players of all different ages just had the greatest motherfucking time. Cause I was straight up with them. I was like, guys, don't expect to win anything. If we get third, that is a victory, and we did. There was one competition we actually got third. And I remember I was just out of my mind when I heard it. I just kept, and our team name was stupid. It was Sleeping Bunnies. And so I just broke my voice screaming Sleeping Bunnies. And we celebrated harder than the team that got first. That, have you ever seen that meme of the guy splashing the champagne after he gets the medal? And then it zooms out and there's all the people on the ladder above them? That was us before that meme.
Yeah, man. It's about the celebration.
That is the power of fuck it. Fuck it, you're on the podium. Who cares if you're near the bottom?
Because at least, even if you're the last on the podium, you're like, fuck yeah, I still got here.
Fuck yeah, right?
And at that point, you should be staring at the guys above you like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys?
Why am I partying this hard? Yeah, exactly.
Why am I the only one? Yeah.
Live it up.
Oh. But the problem is you have, and then you have, I think the best thing is just going back to end on that. You had all these teams, especially in LARP, because it's live action roleplay, it's D&D in real life, and some people don't take it seriously, but there are a few people who take it very seriously. And so it was just a lot of fun to basically have a group of players that basically had no idea to the I guess the nuance or any of the drama that had happened beforehand or anything. They had no connection. And so I ran with it, and it was so much fun. I think a few of them still play today. Like I just it was one of my best memories. And I got voted by the LARPers like player of the weekend. And I remember, and I'm sitting I remember that. I'm sitting in this huge meet because we have it at the end of LARP. Where we all meet and sit and talk about the weekend. And I won like player of the weekend. And I remember sitting there and just honestly like thinking to myself, just like, really, guys? Like, dude, I was fucked up this whole weekend. Sure, yeah. Fuck yeah, man.
That's the best part when you win something and you didn't try at all. It's the greatest. You're like, holy shit.
Rujal is right. It's supposed to be fun, not serious work, but some people take it as work and like take it seriously. So it was really fun to have a whole bunch of people just collectively say fuck it. And it's because I think it was because I was completely honest with them and just said, "Guy, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun."
RPG stuff helps relieve the pressure.
And I think that more people, like as I said at the beginning, more people need to learn to do that. More people need to learn to just say screw it. This is how I'm gonna have fun.
Just remember, there's a hidden power to fucking up.
I want to have fun.
What?
There's a hidden power to fucking up.
There's a hidden.
You gotta become like
what's that?
The awkward man.
You learn from mistakes, and you make yourself better. And who cares?
Yeah, that's fair. Awkward man.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
The awkward mancer that you guys are talking about actually came from LARP. That's an idea I stole from LARP.
Yeah, I've no doubt. I was thinking more drunken monk like Jackie Chan, to be honest. My first idea. I'm like, that's the power of fucking up. You just fall on your face and still punch somebody in the face, too.
I believe the awkward mancer started from just a guy who wanted to be, he was trying to be a sorcerer or something in LARP. And his literal pants fell down in the middle of battle, and the monsters he were fighting, like the two people playing them, just started like laughing and ran away, and so the legend of the awkward mancer started. So powerful is the awkwardness of his magic.
This is why RPGs is so great. So you can be anything and make a lot of random bullshit just come out of nowhere, and it's amazing. Legends are foretold. The awkward mancer. This myth foresaw.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're at 15 minutes left, so let's focus in on let's roll the board.
I got this. I'll roll the dice.
No, you won't. I'm not trusting you.
Want to bet?
Let's focus in on the worst kind of pressure. Family pressure.
Under pressure.
Because it's one thing to like not talk to friends anymore. It's one thing to just not give a shit what people say anymore. But it's really hard to. I mean, that's not true. There are some people who, God bless them, it's a lot easier for them. But family, man.
Toughest fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair, yeah.
Like I said it earlier in the show, like I love my sisters to death, but they're both extremely successful. And so is like most of my family. So like it's really hard to not have that pressure when they tell me about like, oh, you should do this. You went to school for this. Oh, you're so knowledgeable in this. You should pursue this. And in my mind I'm like, no. I have no interest. I have interest in learning about politics. I have no interest in being in politics. Why? I am not a shitty person. Sorry. I can't do it.
I
And
can see you
politics
being a
are
good
not fun,
politician.
especially right now. Doesn't look like politics are fun. They're really watching some of the latest debates, the dumbest shit that some people will say on or like just outright not even like talking about certain things or avoiding questions altogether. Or like it's like I honestly feel when you listen to some of the debates that these people have like hearing problems. I like legitimately.
I am really glad you said that. I'm also really glad Rushala said that in the chat. I think we all can admit that some of us are guilty of putting pressure on close friends and family to get vaccinated in some way. Or, yeah, maybe not Jeremy's family. Sorry or not sorry?
Not really. Yeah, no, my family's, well, my direct family's pretty chill.
Yeah,
I feel we're chill for the most part
but
too.
I can tell you, like,
I had it more at work. So I was working in old folks' home for a bit.
but yeah,
Lots of
even outside of us, like I've seen it online, like the gang pressuring from family and friends to get people vaccinated. Like
dope.
I saw on Facebook, I gotta say this carefully because I don't want to mention any names or oust anyone, but there was someone on Facebook and like they like I should broaden this out because there was more people. I saw people on Facebook that would just like start blocking family members or close friends because they decided they didn't want to get a certain vaccine or were waiting for a different vaccine or just didn't want to get vaccinated and they weren't vocal about it. Like I'm not talking about the people who are vocal and who go down and protest like against the vaccine mandates. I'm talking about the people who just decided that they just didn't want to as a personal decision. And they get all of a sudden ousted. And it was like, I mean, the best way to put it is this as basically like an old witch hunt, man. Like, who can we drag out onto the streets and lay it on the pyre and point to as like the reason this thing's still going on? And I think like there's a lot to be said with people's frustration. A lot of people don't like to admit when they're frustrated or when they're lacking patience. You know what I mean? And so they put it on other people.
That added pressure. That
Yeah,
pressure
and they put it on other people because they need an outlet, and no one wants to ever admit they have a problem, and no one wants to be told they have a problem. So they just want to find an outlet for pressure that just ends up being toxic vitriol that comes out of people's mouths and forces people to basically like dichotomize, which is what's happened. You like name me a place in the world where there isn't a dichotomy in either beliefs or personal values.
North Korea.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Yes. You know what? Yeah, you win. You win the special prize. You named a country.
Anyone who thinks otherwise is gone.
But then exactly. No, but in reality, man, like the amount of pressure, not even from COVID, just from people being so interconnected now through Facebook, Twitter, just through social media. It goes back to the reason, I guess, why my mom and my basically my family, except my sisters, and my cousins, are not on my Facebook or on my social media because I don't care. It's not for them. You know what I mean? My social media is not for them. It's for my friends. It's for people that, and if they want to see it, I'll make it public, and then they can see what I posted. Otherwise, it's like, man, I'm a private person, and I think a lot of people lose that level of privacy, especially nowadays. The idea everyone keeps talking about the idea of the private life is gone, but that's bullshit, man. That's absolute bullshit. The idea of the private life is not gone. You just have to learn to stand up to people who are in your private life and say, go fuck yourself. You want to get, like, you want to weave your way into my life even though you have nothing to do with it? Go fuck yourself. Like, if, like, for example, like, let's say Rujala and her husband. Let's say fucking family or anyone married couple. And like your dad decides to come in and start telling you how to run your marriage. Tell him to go fuck himself. It's not his marriage. Same with your brothers, your sisters, family members. Seriously. Now, you don't have to be mad about it, but it's not their lives.
Stand up to yourself a little bit. Choose your own destiny.
Yeah. Seriously. And set the boundaries for yourself. Like, not for them, for yourself. This is what you will tolerate. This is what you will live with. Anything beyond that, go fuck you. You don't get to cross that line because you have no right. I don't care if you're my dad. I don't care if you're my family member. I don't care if you're my best fucking friend. You don't get to cross that fucking line. You don't. Because it's not your fucking life. And if you're so worried about my fucking life, then there's a problem. There's a problem. Because you should be worried about your own. And I mean, I deal with that kind of pressure, but I think it's something that a lot of people, I've heard, especially with the way that the world is working today, that people say they can't do that. But it's not true. And I think we could all be a lot better. All of us could be a lot better. And we could all learn that we set the boundaries. Your family, whoever you are, should be lucky to have you part of their lives. So you set the boundaries. But don't be stupid about it. You know, they're people too. They have their own lives too. You have to what you get back, you have to expect to give. You know what I mean? It does. It really does. Rouge Hollis says keeping your life private takes more work. It does. But sometimes even keeping your life private, even if you can't, because like I said, like this is public. My family can at any moment turn this on and listen to this podcast. And I know for a fact my sisters listen. So, you know, but they know because they expect the same from me. They expect the same from me that like, even if something goes public, I will respect them. And just as I expect they'd respect me. And I feel like if you show that respect, I feel like it takes a lot of pressure off, even if it is in the public. You know what I mean? And I'm talking from a guy whose family's been in the public a lot in my life since I was a kid, whether I liked it or not. And so I can tell you, like, the friends that I made growing up. Exactly. What's acceptable and where the boundaries are. It's exactly it. It's exactly the root of what I'm trying to say. Rajala said you have to teach people how to treat you, what's acceptable and where the boundaries are. And that's exactly it. If you make something, and like I was trying to say, like I make this public, but I don't go on tirades about my family. I just mention stuff that, you know, is public knowledge that we can discuss in a private setting at any point because I have that respect. You know what I mean? And it takes that pressure off my mind. It allows me to speak and know that I can understand people I know because I have set those boundaries. And it's hard. It started with me honestly not talking to my family for almost 2 years. And that's not a lie. I just did not. And then I came back under my own terms. And it's been the best ever since. But I'm not saying everyone does that. That's a personal thing. I think everyone needs to learn that as an adult, you control the pressure.
But yeah, you gotta stand up and set that tone of where my respect needs to be respected, while I'm equally respectful. In the
Yes.
same measure.
Exactly. And Rujala also adds, because everyone has a different line they don't want to cross, and you can't expect everyone to read your mind. And that's exactly it. That's exactly it, actually. And that's what I wanted to get at. And that's the heart of what I wanted to get at with pressure. Is a lot of people don't.
Pressure. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun.
a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. And my first two pieces of advice to anyone who tells me that is learn to say fuck it, and learn and take a step away from everything, and then come back on your own
3
terms.
months company, avoid it.
Yeah. Taking a step back
And it
is
can't
one of
work.
the hardest things you can do, and coming back on your own terms. But if you can do it, if you can truly set your own terms, then pressure is no longer a problem, because you take on the pressure. Yeah.
Never be afraid to take a step back if you're going to take 2 steps. If you know it helps you take 2 steps forward.
It's true. And learn to say fuck it. And if you're listening, and if you're out there listening, and you're thinking to yourself like, "Hey, maybe I do that," then don't be down on yourself. Just be mindful. I've said it myself. Like, I do it to people, and I do it all the time, and I hate it. But you have to be mindful of it, right? There's the thing about it is, if you don't actively try to change yourself, nothing will change. And then you'll end up, all of a sudden, you'll be down a friend, a family member who never talks to you, a friend who never talks to you. You might find yourself alienating yourself, and you didn't even realize it.
And waters as it was.
Yeah.
Life can't live without it.
That being said, we are at time. We do have one more sad piece of news to announce.
Those who've been watching at this wonderful time, you get to hear this wonderful updates and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this too wonderful. Due to things that we will not talk about and we will not bring up. But unfortunately, Sara Vike will not be joining us on the podcast anymore. It's nothing to do with us. We're still all great friends, just best friends with her. We still play D&D with her.
Personal life choices, things going on, and updates.
There's a lot going on, so she will not be joining us for the foreseeable future. But hopefully, we hope maybe one day she'll come back.
We may still have the Beyond Men Viking on the occasional one shot.
Who knows? Maybe. She did tell us maybe she'll jump into the chat once in a while, and so watch from a distance.
About viewers and stuff, you might see her.
That being said, we're really sad, but you have to do what you do best for your mental health.
She's always still here.
Yeah.
In our hearts, in a sense.
There's the pressure of wanting those you care about to be better people. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Anyway, on that sad note, I would like to thank you all for spending your time with us. I'm sorry you had nothing better to do, but I'm really glad you spent it with us here. I'm really glad. All the hugs out to Sara.
Thank you,
Vike, Sara the Viking. I am C4, here with the elusive gentleman, Insanieac, and the Greasy Boy. We are the villains of the Villains Talk Show. A little lesser, but still strong. And we'd like to thank you all again for joining us. Catch us next week for the same time, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, 10:30 Mountain, for the hour-long live shows. Catch us on podcasts every Tuesday or Thursday.
Same pretty faces.
Or catch us on Fridays for the 2-Shot Fridays.
Check out our wonderful
3 shots.
stuff on Buzz
3-Shot, 4-Shot, 5
and,
shots.
This is
set
3
up
shots.
Your podcast stuff.
The 20 shots.
Who's doing the next shots? I don't know.
Please post the link to Patreon. That's right, the link tree. Quickly.
The link tree.
Quickly. It's right
I
there.
posted it at the beginning, and it's right there again.
Right here. The link tree is here.
If you want to be become a minion today, the wonderful cult.